Hello everybody, welcome back to The Vegan View. Today we have a very special guest, a friend of mine. I think I've known her now for like at least 7 years. If you're in LA, you know her restaurants. They're an LA institution, Real Food Daily. Here with us we have Adaline Hobbs. She is the owner and founder of Junkyard Dog and the owner of Real Food Daily. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us.
Thanks for having me. So great to be here.
This is so exciting.
We love Real Food Daily so much.
Yeah.
And
Yes, I
we're
love
so
you.
excited to hear about your new venture. So thank you.
But tell us first
Yeah.
about your vegan story. How did you go vegan?
It's pretty straightforward. It was like overnight. It was when I was 14, so that was 2006. And I basically saw one PETA video, and it was of dairy cows. And it was just like a light switch went off. Like I was like, oh my God, okay, that's not for me anymore. And just the next day I was vegan, I guess. Wow. I mean, it took some time to like figure it out. Like I ate a lot of PB&Js for like a solid year. But
Yummy.
yeah, right? I don't eat them anymore. It's a little overloaded. But yeah, and then, just figuring out like the clothing and the, you know, cruelty-free side of everything. But yeah, it was just ethically like an immediate shift for me. And thankfully my parents were like amazing. My mom would make me like vegan lunches for school. It was really sweet. So it was pretty easy. And luckily I was here. I grew up in LA, so not, the middle of nowhere with no options. So
Yeah, we're very lucky here.
That's great that they were so supportive. I think so many parents are like, well, I don't know what to feed you anymore.
right. I mean, my dad made fun of me. My dad's from Chicago. He's very like meat and potatoes kind of guy. So, but now he's almost fully there.
Oh, that's great.
Just chipping away.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it takes some time. There's that instant resistance, and then once they see like how happy and healthy you are, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like maybe.
Right.
Yeah. And then like once they try a few vegan things that they like, then they're like, oh.
Okay,
especially now,
so
so
bad.
many options. Like 2006 was a little scarce, but
Right.
come a long way.
Oh my gosh,
so I'm
yeah.
very grateful.
Yeah.
So were you like vegetarian at all before? You literally it was a dairy cow video, and it was
Dairy
like
cow,
no more meat, no more cheese, no more any eggs, anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it took like, I'm not going to say I did it perfectly because, you have to get used to reading those labels, which now you can like zoom through. But yeah, I mean, the intent was definitely there immediately, and just trying to figure it out right away.
Yeah.
I did have literally my last experience eating meat is so vivid. I had like it was like a week later, and I was kind of just like rifling through the fridge, and I got I like saw a meatball and like took a bite, and then it dawned on me, and I just remember the splat on the floor of dropping it.
Oh my
and
God,
just that's the last time, and I was like, oh my God, meat.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember after I went vegan, it was like a 2-month break, or like I was like 2 months into being vegan, and I was eating this veggie wrap that I got from just a regular deli. They had meat stuff, but like what I ordered was vegan. It was like veggies and hummus, and then I took a bite and there was a piece of steak in it.
Oh.
And I remember just being like, oh my God, the taste of it was so different to me. And I used to love steak. That was like my birthday dinner every year. Like that was like my
You're
thing.
one of those girls.
Those girls.
Steak dinner.
Steak dinner, yeah. Surf and turf. But I just remember being like, that does not taste like food anymore. And it was only like 2 months in too to like how your taste buds change. It's so crazy.
I know, I hate when the slip-ups happen. It's so devastating. But
But it happens. I think it's important
Yeah.
to talk about it too, and especially like, you saying how it's like a process for you. I think it's so unrealistic to expect everyone to just watch a documentary and go vegan overnight.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I know maybe like a few people who did that, and I'm like, wow, like that is, you really did your research, you really took your time, and that's hard when you're like
commitment, especially when you're so young. When you're 14, you're like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
I mean, thankfully I was 14 and like already mad about everything. So it just like gave me an outlet for that too. Like, very angry activism. I was like a punk rock rocker, so
Oh.
there's like a whole
Yeah.
subculture too.
Yeah, we've
Veganism with punk rock, so it's like it kind of worked out.
We've talked about this before and
Yeah.
how like if you've been either bullied before or you've already been used to being against the grain in a way, like counterculture, like you know, fight the man, you're gonna do well with veganism because
Yeah.
you're okay
Yeah.
with like people like telling you things and
Yeah.
telling you like the way you're eating isn't like right, or fighting for what you believe in. It's common.
And just
Yeah.
questioning like the status quo. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Questioning the narrative of what you're sold every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it's like politics or marketing or, you know, there's a million things we're bombarded with like every day. So if you're already doubtful and inquisitive, like
Yeah.
that's going to naturally lead you to question what you're putting in your body.
Exactly.
Where it's coming
That's
from.
what led me to veganism. Like, I just didn't trust the food industry, and I'm like,
Yeah.
meat and dairy goes through so many different processes, and where are all these animals coming from, and what's in this, and how are they killed?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, what's the least touched? Okay, vegetables and
Yeah.
fruits. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
I always question everything.
So, what led you to Real Food Daily? I would love to know the process behind that.
Sure.
You know, like start us from the beginning.
Okay, so it's actually sort of a long story. I've had so much good fortune in my life. So it started out, I grew up kind of in the restaurant business. My dad's in the restaurant business. So I grew up working in restaurants that he owns in the city here. And just always kind of felt like it was my destiny. You know what I mean? And then I was kind of like, how do I work the vegan thing into it? And then I went to college for hospitality. So I went to UNLV and kind of studied it there and was trying to figure it out. And while I was finishing up there, my dad actually called me up and he was like, hey, Real Food Daily's for sale. Have you heard of this place? And I was like, yeah, it's the first vegan restaurant I ever went to, like ever. So it was really serendipitous. And, you know, he just really took a chance on me and invested in me. And, you know, that's such a blessing. Like nobody gets that opportunity. So I'm like so grateful.
Yeah.
Which is why I work insane hours to earn it, you know? But yeah, I definitely had a huge help there with, you know, my dad, and he was kind of just like passing the baton. And I was the only kid that really wanted to get into restaurants because of the insane workload. And, you know, I just was like, let's just steer it this direction. And I'm just super lucky that he was like, okay, I trust you to like make the vegan part successful.
Yeah.
So we took over, and then he's kind of, you know, just taken a step back. And then this next venture is actually me and my husband. So it's just, you know, I'm just trying to open as many vegan places as possible.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Well, tell us about the new place.
So it's called Junkyard Dog. It is totally different than Real Food Daily, but still 100% vegan, of course. So we're gonna be more of like a, how do I describe this? Like kind of like more of a party, more fun, less. You know, I love Real Food Daily and the organic and super healthy, but we have like a little more junky options, but still a lot of healthy options. And we're gonna have like a punk rock feel.
Love that.
So, you know, back to that angsty
Yeah.
teen. Get to bring her out a little bit. It's kind of decorated like my bedroom was.
Oh my god,
Amazing.
I love that.
So we got like, I went and hand selected like a bunch of vintage posters, and it's just been such a passion project. I love it. But we're gonna be open for breakfast every day, 8 to 3, and then we'll close down for a couple hours and reopen at 5 for dinner.
Okay.
And it's gonna be like basically anything American, just vegan.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to get away from like, it's so fringe to be vegan. It's so hard. Like I'm not included. So it's just kind of like, there's something here for everyone.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you normally eat, just no death.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you're doing breakfast and every day, not just on the weekend. So many
every
people
day.
just do brunch on the weekend. So many restaurants just do brunch on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many mornings where I'm like, vegan breakfast, and I already know what's going to come up. But I'm like,
Right.
maybe something else will come up this
Yeah.
morning and someone else is doing vegan breakfast. It's like, no, it's the same 2 places, and then the other places that have like the vegan breakfast burrito on their menu.
No,
That's
I
cool.
tell you what, like, I have not. I was never a breakfast girl, but like being pregnant, I eat breakfast. I wake up every single morning. I'm like, what am I eating? And I'm like in the Postmates app trying to find something, and it's like, yeah, you get it. It's like I want like a hearty breakfast. I want like some pancakes. I want a breakfast burrito. I want like all the things. I want the full spread.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the one thing that has been kind of missing in the vegan world is like just a really good like classic all-American breakfast.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Nostalgic.
Hopefully-
Yeah.
Well, it's in Silver Lake, so come on down.
Yeah,
When is it
so
opening?
excited.
Yeah, when is it?
We're just waiting on the city because licensing takes a million years.
Yeah.
But it should be transferring like this week or next week. So
Okay.
we're ready to go. It's just
Wow.
Okay.
a matter
Oh my
of
gosh.
being legally allowed to
Yeah.
sell you anything.
Yeah.
So
That's so
we're close.
exciting.
And we do love Real Food Daily too. So.
Yeah,
Yes.
love Real Food Daily.
Actually, Real Food Daily is also the first vegan
Oh, really?
meal I ever had.
Really?
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
in
What'd you have?
2011. I had a spinach fettuccine Alfredo.
Amazing.
And it had like veggies in it, and I had a cookie.
Yeah.
And that's what like changed the game for me. I was like, this is vegan. And the next day, I went to go eat it, and it didn't have that funky milk smell.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in the pasta or in the cookie, and I was like, "Oh, this tastes like what food is supposed to taste like,"
Yeah.
and that's what helped me on my vegan journey.
That's
So I'm
amazing.
like,
I
Real Food
love
Daily
that.
always
Yeah.
has like a special place in my
Yeah.
heart.
thank
Yeah,
you
so many fond memories there. I it wasn't my first vegan meal, but I remember it being my first like tuna sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
still eat
oh,
that
this
all the
is
time.
so good.
So
yeah.
good.
You can't ever take that out.
Oh,
on
no.
the menu.
Ever.
That's like a staple.
We have some, like, I call things like the greatest hits, like even
Yeah.
if they're holdovers
Yeah.
from the previous owner.
Yeah.
They're just not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
what,
just
what
add
are
it.
they? I'm
Yes,
curious to
let's
see
know.
like
I wanna know.
we've had them.
Yeah, definitely the tuna. Definitely the club sandwich. I think
Okay.
I would have a pitchfork mob at my front door if I did.
Yeah.
The basic bowls.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
basic
a
bowls.
favorite of mine for sure. We've kind of like added some things to them, but
Yeah.
you know, people love what they love. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
take it off.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
add like we've added some kind of like transitional foods, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. So I've added
Yeah.
like pizza and like
Yeah.
some more pastas and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The
But-
breakfast pizza. I remember that being so good. I don't know if it's still on the menu.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we
just really
added
liking
all day
that.
breakfast.
Yeah.
That's-
that was
that's-
Wait, all day
also-
breakfast?
yeah.
That's so hard to find.
Clearly
You
I
don't
like
understand.
breakfast.
Unless you're going to a Norm's or a
Yeah.
Denny's or I don't know, maybe like an IHOP, finding
Yeah.
all day vegan breakfast is hard. You can't.
Yeah.
That's almost impossible.
Wow.
Go have all day vegan breakfast at 7
way.
p.m. at Real
No,
Food Daily.
literally.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
like, Jesse already confessed his love for the breakfast calzone, and I was like, he literally will order it for dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
we'll literally be
wow.
ordering dinner, and he's like, breakfast calzone. I was like, okay.
Sure. I
Yeah.
can't believe I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Clutch.
9 p.m. pancakes.
How do you feel like veganism in the restaurant world has changed? I mean, I know LA is such like a special, you know,
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
that's very unique because of how many vegan restaurants we have. But since you've acquired Real Food Daily and now the new place, like how have things changed?
I mean, a lot, to be honest. I mean, even just in, because kind of, it's been like 6 years now. That's kind of when Impossible was starting to just enter the restaurant scene. You know, like I remember Crossroads had like kinda just
Exclusive.
gotten it.
Yeah.
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 So now it's literally everywhere,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though I would prefer to go to a fully vegan restaurant just to like feel safe.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's that like everywhere in LA has an option.
Yeah.
And it's just like I feel like starting to trickle nationwide. So hopefully that will become a flood
Yeah.
sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think Impossible really changed the game. And you know, more than just like a portobello burger or like
Yeah.
fries.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like vegans, as loud as we're considered.
I know.
I think, you know, you make an impact, you know, the kind of the squeaky wheel gets the oil kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. I think there's vegan options everywhere, and just the vegan restaurant scene is just so progressive, and like people are coming up with like such amazing
Yeah.
creative dishes.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen like sunny side up eggs in Israel. I don't know if you've seen that product. I
Oh,
can't think of the
no.
name of it right now.
I saw
I
it.
want it to come here.
I saw it, yeah.
Wow.
Some Veg News or
So-
someone posted it.
Yeah.
But I was like, excuse me. What?
Come here.
Yeah.
Come here now.
I
How?
just. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. How do you think the want of the consumer has changed too, like in the last or since you acquired Real Food Daily to now?
It kind of depends how you look at it. So Real Food Daily is like very specific customer base. We have, I would say most of the customers are not vegan actually. I'd say
Yeah.
most are like health conscious, like, you know, active people who just want to eat something healthy.
Yeah.
And know that like we're using good oils and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas the consumer as a whole, I think there's a lot of newbies who are just interested in just replacement.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was going for with Junkyard Dog, just kind of like the easy transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people are a little more in the vegan world, like more demanding on new creative stuff instead of just the Impossible Burger. Like, you can get that.
Right.
Like, I have it at Real
Exactly.
Food Daily as that option.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, we make our own patty too.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, just people want something different because
Yeah.
it'll taste the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always like seek for something different. Like if it's a vegan restaurant, I'm most likely not going to get the burger because
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
pretty much get that at a non-vegan restaurant.
Literally.
Yeah.
I went to
Exactly.
a vegan restaurant the other day in Flatbush, New York, and I was like asking the lady, "Oh, what are the best things here?" And she's like naming off the burgers and stuff, and I'm just looking at her, thinking in my head, "Baby, I did not come here to eat a burger.
Yeah.
I did not come all the way to New York to eat a burger.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
no."
Yeah.
And it's so funny whenever people meet me and they're like, "Oh, you're vegan? Have you ever had an Impossible Burger?"
It's like, of
'Cause,
course.
like, for them,
Yeah.
like, that's what they've had,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, "Baby, have I?"
At this point, I have it in my veins.
Exactly.
Why is it possible?
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious. I know we have a lot of viewers who are in like middle America, smaller towns. As a restaurant owner, how do you recommend that those people approach like their local restaurants to try to get them to have more vegan options? Because I feel like sometimes people are afraid to ask. Is there like a
Sure.
good way to do that?
You know, I hadn't really thought about it, but, you know, my husband's actually from a small town in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And I went and met his extended family like 2 years ago, and I swear it was like taking a time machine.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like everyone was asking me, like, what's a vegan? I was like, what?
Yeah.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What state was it in?
Illinois,
Wow.
but like a smaller town, which is actually where my family's from too, so it's kind of funny. But they were really interested, which was nice because it was like I was like an exotic animal. And they were like, "How are you alive?" I'm fine, everyone. But yeah, I think just me going, even when we were eating out there, just like asking, like, "Hey, what do you cook this with? Do you have a vegan option?" And generally, the response is not very confident.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
you know,
That's when it's scary.
You can tell.
scary.
Yeah,
That's when it's scary because they're like,
Scary.
yeah, it should be vegan. I mean, there's just Parmesan in it.
Right, just
There's,
butter.
Or they'll say, "Oh, well, this is gluten free," and it's like, that's not what I
Like, do you have
asked.
anything
I'm like,
vegan?
great,
We
so
have
that's
gluten-free
Eggs,
things.
exactly. Literally.
every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just for people who live in those smaller towns, it is a little harder for me to know just because I grew up in LA, so
Right.
I'm very spoiled
Right.
with vegan options. But I would just say, just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're more likely to get a response if you ask, and if more people are asking, they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
people want, then
Right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
provide it to them."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than that sad side salad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That I
I
had
just
to eat many
wonder
of.
because I know sometimes like I think it probably depends on the restaurant or the chef, but I feel like sometimes they get a little sensitive if you're like, "Oh, can I do this but make this mod and this mod and this mod and this mod?"
You're like,
and,
how dare you want to change my creation
Right.
to make it vegan?
Right.
How dare you?
How dare you.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if there was like
Yeah.
a way that people could, I don't know, suggest like, "Hey, have you ever thought about having the Impossible Burger on your menu?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Impossible could be a really good one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, back to us not wanting to order that, generally I find the people who do order it are with a group,
Yeah.
you know, or it's like someone's grandpa or like, you know what I mean? Like someone who
Yeah.
hasn't been exposed. So it's always a really good jumping off point.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
And then they feel safe ordering that because they've had it
Right.
before. And they're like, oh, that
Right.
vegan
Yeah,
thing I
that's
liked.
good.
The Impossible,
Yeah,
I liked
that's
that.
really
yeah.
good.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, there's definitely, it just takes, or maybe even just like bring them a sample. Like if you're, I don't know how well do you know the chef of a place, but you know, I mean, I even get suggestions from customers all the time or like questions, and I take all feedback to heart. So if I'm getting a question all the time, you know, like sugar-free desserts, for example, I get a lot of questions. So, you know, I'm gonna look into that. If that's
Right.
something people want and like
Yeah.
a need that needs to be filled,
Why not? Yeah.
why not? I got you.
Yeah.
love that.
I mean, it's only just means more sales. So it's
Right.
like-
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that you can accommodate everybody, it just makes it easier for people to be like, "Oh, I want to go to Real Food Daily because I can actually get a dessert there." Like,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Which
mean,
is
those are safer.
actually the concept behind Cheesecake Factory. They have this whole thing called the veto vote. So they're basically trying to eliminate that one person being like, I can't go there because I'm vegan, because I'm gluten free, because I don't eat fish. So that's why their
It's very
menu is, you know,
so
smart.
insane.
insane. Yeah.
They
It's
actually
so
have some vegan
huge.
options
They
now.
do.
so-
They do.
Yeah. I know. I'm actually like pretty. It's nice when like a big chain like that has something, because it's like, oh, anywhere you go, there's Cheesecake Factory.
Because then, and as much as like you wouldn't want to go to one here in LA, you're like, oh, you're very excited when you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, let's go there. They have vegan
Cheesecake
options.
Factory. I do wish they had a vegan cheesecake though.
That's so easy.
That used to be my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
That's so easy. They need to have a vegan cheesecake.
Yeah, come on, Cheesecake Factory.
I know.
Please, I'm just gonna call and ask and like hit up their
Should add them
email.
right now.
Yeah. Do you have any tips or advice for people who want to get in the restaurant industry and like want to have their own restaurant one day?
Yeah, I mean, I say every time a vegan restaurant opens, like most people who are like, it's competition.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. Open up a block away. Let's make this like a vegan haven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, York and Highland Park is just like every single one of those. Every other restaurant is a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
So I say, please do it.
Yeah.
It's again, just obviously I came from that place where it's like I kind of grew up with like a little more knowledge, and I had my dad as a mentor, so I'm super lucky.
Yeah.
But if you ever had any questions, I've learned a lot, and I'm happy to help. But yeah, it's really challenging, I would say, but like very rewarding. I would say just have a really good concept, figure out funding, whether that's an SBA loan or investors, or maybe like get your family and friends, or maybe start with a food truck, because that's like really cost effective. It's like $60,000 total startup cost. Might be more now with inflation, but that's like a good way to start. And then you can like get your sales, you can go to festivals, you can get that interest, and then get a brick and mortar, because there's like so many more costs that come with the brick and mortar, and all the extra staff and everything. So I would just say, just do a lot of research, read a lot about it, and ask people questions. But there's so many restaurants, so many people can do it and have done it, so you can totally do it.
Me? I wasn't talking about.
Oh, I thought you were.
Like, I'm asking for the people.
I'm asking for a friend.
Name Joy.
Knowing what you know and what you've experienced, what would you say has been your biggest challenge?
I would say letting go. I think I'm there now, but like delegating and not doing every job myself.
Right.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me in the beginning, and the business suffers, like your employees suffer, your product suffers ultimately when you do that, because you can't do
Everything.
100% of everything well. But it's hard to like relinquish that to other people who might not be as passionate, or like have as much risk on the line, or whatever it might be. But you just have to find people you really trust, train them really well, give them the tools to do their job, and not micromanage them. So that's a big thing that I've learned. Like I've made a lot of mistakes. That was definitely like I think my hardest hurdle.
Right.
But now I'm like, please do these jobs, because I have no time. So thank you.
Yeah. What do you look for in somebody though that is going to, put forth a good effort and things like that? Because I feel like that is hard about like any business that you own, like trying to, because you want to trust these people, but then of course they're not going to care about it as much as you are, because it's your business, it's your baby. So like, how do you find those people, or at least like let go a little?
I would say, you have to have a little faith, and then also definitely get people with really good experience who is specific to my industry, who want to be professionals in the industry. So it's a little bit harder with like servers, bartenders, that kind of demographic, because it's a lot of college students, actors, musicians in LA specifically, which is great. Do your art, I love it. But it's not like their plan for their career.
Right, their career,
So I think management is kind of where you have to focus your financial resources, for sure. You got to make sure you're like paying people a good wage.
Salary.
Come on, it's LA. And just in general, people need to live, and just be fair and give them their time off, and make sure that they have a good background in other restaurants. So generally I kind of look for people from corporate backgrounds for management, just because they have a really good grasp on like legal stuff and like making sure people are treated fairly and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I think that is something I always think about. Like, how do you like have a business and then like give away that trust, and like know that person's gonna uphold the recipes and the everything,
Well, you got to be there too. You have to be in there checking. And that's just part. I mean, you should want to be there.
Right.
The second, because if you leave,
Something goes wrong.
Things will happen.
Yeah, sure.
And then you get called.
Yeah, exactly.
As you're leaving, come back. Yeah.
But I mean, I'll go. I mean, I'm sure like you've seen me working there. Like I will work
Yeah.
the takeout counter. I'll serve like, whatever. I love
that.
it.
I love when I walk into a restaurant and the owner is
Yeah.
there. I always feel just so at home because
Yeah.
like that person is there and I know like their love is behind it and like I don't know, I just always feel
feel
good when I
like
walk in.
Yeah.
Of every time that I've been to Real Food Daily, I think there's been like twice that you weren't there. Otherwise, like you've been there all the time.
Yeah.
I always joke like I
Always
should
there.
have a cot in the office. I mean, lately with the opening of the new spot, like that's where I've been living.
Yeah.
Right.
So definitely having to trust your managers is like really
Yeah.
key right now,
Yeah.
especially. But I mean, if you don't love it, why would you torture yourself with
Yeah.
such a hard job?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
the hours are really grueling. You know, the margins are so thin. Like there's all these things that you have to do to make it work, which is why so many restaurants fail.
Yeah.
It's something like 98% in the first 2 years fail,
That's
Wow.
insane.
Wow.
which is
was
crazy. So
98?
So you have to go in knowing that
Yeah.
there's a 98% chance that you are going to fail.
I was going
Which
to
is-
ask you that because,
pretty
like,
Yeah.
of LA, there's, you know, because we have so many vegan restaurants, we also have a lot of vegan restaurants that don't make it
Yeah.
and they do end up shutting down. What do you think has been Real Food Daily's secret to success? Because I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, if you've lived in LA for a while, you know Real
Yeah.
Food Daily. It's
Yeah.
just been around forever.
Like I ate there in 2011.
yeah.
2022. Like,
Yeah. And like you still eat there. It's like it's one
Yeah.
of those things. It's like it's just so
Yeah.
reliable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know what I love about it, but I
Breakfast calzone, yeah. I would say, well, originally, I mean, obviously the brand was there before I was. And they did a really great job of building that brand and building that trust with really loyal customers. And I have people who come in and they're like, I've been coming here since, I don't know why they're that old, but you know what I mean? Like forever.
1917. Oh, not here.
Exactly.
Wrong place.
Sometimes people will exaggerate too, and they're like, I've been coming to this location since like 1984, and I'm like,
you're like, it wasn't wrong.
just, you know, indulge
didn't
them.
exist.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's
Sir, this was a
that.
rug store before.
So there's definitely that like brand recognition. But as far as, I mean, in 6 years we could have easily closed. So I think what we've done is kind of the blood, sweat, and tears. Mostly blood and sweat.
Not
You know,
in the
just-
food, though.
Right, not in the food. Correct. But yeah, just, you know, really just working hard. We're family run. You know, my husband, I'm sure you guys have met him actually if you've
Yeah.
been there. He's amazing. I love him so much. He's like amazing at everything I'm terrible at, and vice
That's
versa.
ideal. It's
a
So
good balance,
I don't know how
yeah.
that happened, but thank you. So we work together. We work like 1 million hours a week and always on the phone. You know, people are like, I would be divorced by now, and I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot. We're really a good
That
team.
is hard to work
Yeah.
together, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, we're a good team. But,
Yeah.
you know, just doing that, being family owned and operated, you know, we have really loyal staff that's been there like the whole time, and we get people that are just like really stick with us, and I think that's a big part of it. Just having a really good team. You really cannot do it without your people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say the staff and just the hard work.
Yeah.
That's what it takes, you know. And again, knowing what you're getting into going into it,
Yeah.
you got to know that it's going to be
It's gonna be tough.
Right.
It's not gonna be
12-hour
easy.
days all the time,
Yeah.
14-hour days. You know, it happens.
Because
Yeah.
you guys, I mean, you acquired that like, you know, a few years before 2020 and then had to
Yeah.
go through
Yeah.
2020, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So you've really been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I've learned so much. I'm like so grateful
Right.
because I feel like I really got a crash course. And then even things where my dad was like, pandemic, like this is something I can't even
Yeah.
Right.
coach you
Yeah,
on.
Right.
you've seen it all.
You
and,
know.
like,
Yeah.
But
No one could have
that was
predicted that.
interesting. I mean, even so March of 2020, when right before, because we closed for a couple months, but right before we were like, oh my God, we have like all this food. So we were literally like selling our produce
Yeah.
on the sidewalk,
Wow.
like a farmer's market.
Yeah. I remember that.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Scary times. But you know, we made it through it, and I'm super grateful. And you know, now it's just time to come back stronger than ever.
No,
I
I want
think.
to eat real food daily.
Come by. Well, I did bring you guys some
Oh, yeah.
baked
Should we-
goods.
Should
so-
we do a little taste test?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some pastries.
Yes.
So these are going to be at the new location?
Yes. So these do
So
all
we're
have
getting a
gluten. We'll have some
sneaky-
gluten-free options, but just in case.
Oh my
And I brought some pumpkin flavored.
Oh, because
So-
it's fall.
And it's a little gloomy out, so
Oh
I figured
my.
it feels
Oh
like
my
it.
god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm
Oh my
like
god.
salivating right now.
Me
You
too.
don't understand.
Hannah, open the box.
Okay, we got to get a
Wow.
close-up.
Wow.
Oh my god. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Are
my
you
God.
kidding me?
So I have the most amazing. So I made the whole menu at Junkyard Dog.
Please do not drop it.
Okay, so what do we have here?
So we have cinnamon rolls, which are my personal fave, and then we have 2 scone flavors. So there's a cranberry orange, which always like sounds bad to me, but then tastes amazing.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will. They
Okay.
are amazing. And then a pumpkin scone.
I know Hannah's doing the pumpkin scone.
Yeah. Well, we can split.
can we
I'll
do-
share.
Okay.
Can we
Cinnamon
do
roll?
cinnamon roll?
Yeah, I need a cinnamon roll.
I need it now.
Right
Yeah,
now.
I need.
Oh.
We're not sharing the cinnamon rolls.
No.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Look at this.
Insane.
Okay, so in addition to breakfast and
you.
dinner, you guys are gonna have pastries as well.
So we'll have
Sounds
these
like a dream place.
3, which are made by my baker, who is like I made all the recipes for the menu, and I cook, but I don't bake. But my baker is so amazing. I love him so much.
Oh my god.
What's his name?
His name is Rudy.
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 And he's like
Rudy.
Rudy. Yes.
Rudy.
Wow, Rudy. This is so
Yeah,
good.
Rudy's
You
awesome.
guys.
Okay, you don't know
I've
how
eaten so many of these already.
you don't know how easy it is, unfortunately, to fuck up a vegan cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
It really is.
There are terrible cinnamon rolls out there. This is amazing. This is so
I mean,
freaking
he
good
knows
and
his
soft
stuff.
and delicious. Ugh.
This will be available all day, yes.
Wow.
Do you realize how much of a blessing that is for this to be available all day?
I honestly feel bad for you guys who don't live in LA because this is like one of those things when like we have family come to town, like this is what I'm gonna get, like to have in the house for breakfast the next day, or friends stay over, like.
Oh my
because
god.
There's no way that you would ever be like, that tastes vegan. It just
No one.
doesn't.
No one would be like, oh, I knew it tasted weird. It's
Right.
vegan. No.
No.
It's an amazing cinnamon roll. That's it.
And it's just like, why then? Why are we using animal
Exactly.
products to make things like this when they
so
are
Exactly.
it's so infuriating.
I
It's
know.
so infuriating.
It's just so unnecessary. But it's like, you know what? There's a surplus of those products, so they're cheaper. So I feel like that's what holds a lot of people back from it.
True.
Because it's like, this is a better option for you, better for the environment, better for
for
the
the
animals.
animals, like
It's just like a win all around.
Right.
And it tastes better. I think.
exactly.
But it's like, I love how you have to approach it too with people. You have to like just feed it. So this is like my form of activism.
Yeah.
I always am like, oh, here.
Try the
Try this lasagna. And then they eat it and they're like, it's so good. And I'm like, it's vegan. and it's like, and then they're trapped.
I know.
But yeah, I call that activism covert ops. So
Yeah.
Which
Wow.
one's this one?
that looks like cranberry.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, it smells
Is it
heavenly.
Starbucks that has a cranberry scone? Or
I think it's kind of like the ubiquitous
it's
scone
like
flavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It smells
Okay.
delicious. Ready?
Ooh.
Alright.
Fragrant.
Mmm. Oh my god.
Again, like that is
Oh
a
my
scone.
god. It's perfect.
Imagine if it was terrible and you guys are like, oh, so.
Guys.
Amazing.
Like perfect for this time of year.
I think this is my
Perfect
first time
one.
having a scone, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, normally
been
I'm
a
not a
long
scone
time.
gal, to be honest.
Well, vegan scones are hard to find. Again, this is like why it's like, why are we not?
It's
making
like
all
the
scones
perfect
vegan?
amount of like sweetness but saltiness.
Good.
So good.
And you know, for the rest of we're having a few baked goods from the Good Good. I don't know if you guys
yeah.
are familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure you guys heard of Val's
Yeah.
passing, but they're keeping it open in her honor. So I just like wanted to partner with them. We're gonna do like a couple muffins and
That's
like a
amazing.
banana bread or something from there. So
Are they staying permanently open then? Is there family
I don't
running
know
it?
what the whole trajectory is, but I know that they're definitely like
Okay.
trying to stay open.
Good.
So if anyone wants to wholesale with them or just support them,
Yeah.
I definitely should.
I never made it over there.
I never
and
made it over there
I kept
either.
wanting to,
Yeah.
and then just never did. So I have to. We
The
should
food
do
is
it.
really good.
They were selling at like a coffee shop that was by my old work, and I would always pop in and get it. So hopefully they're able to still, sell in other places and keep it going. But.
What flavor is this again?
So this is pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Oh wow.
All right, it's officially fall.
No.
Wow.
Hopefully we get the rain we're supposed to get today.
I know.
This is gonna sound weird, but this is in the best way. This tastes like what a Pier 1 Imports would taste like in the fall. If you know what I mean. Like you walk in there and it smells like cinnamon and pumpkin, and you're like, yes, I want a $7,000 table.
This is our
That's what
candle
this tastes
flavored
like.
scone.
All the holiday flavors and like scents, like it's like encompassing.
Yeah.
Do people eat like scones with coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got the sneak peek for you guys.
You guys.
So, get excited.
Run to both restaurants.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much
Thank
for taking
you.
time
Of
to
course,
be with us
yeah.
and give such great advice and give us a little peek behind the curtain. I just feel like so honored to be able to sit here with you and like talk about one of our favorite restaurants ever.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank
you
you for
so
having
much for
me.
coming.
It's great to just, get out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Wear something other than neighbor.
Where are you going after this?
To the new place, Junkyard
Okay.
Dog. Yes. So we like have a little more construction stuff tidying up. So
Okay.
Amazing.
almost there. Almost there.
Perfect.
I can't wait.
Wow.
Can't
We
wait
will
to
link
be there.
everything in the description box
Yeah.
down below so you know where to find it. Do we
Yes.
have stuff yet for the new place?
I have an Instagram finishing up the website,
Okay.
but I will send that all to you.
Yeah.
Yay.
So thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you so much, and thanks for keeping
Thank
Real
you so
Food
much
Daily
for coming.
alive.
Yes.
Yes.
You're a hero, a true hero.
Our true vegan hero.
Actually, an LA staple. If you
Yes.
haven't been to Real Food Daily, you're from out of town, check them out and check out Junkyard Dog.
Breakfast all day, baby.
Yes.
Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all of our social media. We'll link it in the description box down below. And we'll see you next time for another episode.
Bye.
Bye.